Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Margaret, aka Mrs. Persevere, and I am back here for another edition of Free Game Thursday, where my husband and I share information and knowledge that you would normally have to pay for or learn through trial after trial after trial. So last week we talked about partnerships. This week I want to talk about perseverance. And as always, we tackle those main big questions: the who, what, when, where, why, and most importantly, the how. Right? Because we want to know, how do we get these things done? So let's start with the big question. What does it mean to persevere? My favorite definition is the one that we use for our brand Persevere, and it is to persist in or remain constant to a task or purpose. Right? To persist in or remain constant to a task or purpose. Now, sometimes in the dictionary, they add on this little tagline that's like, even when success is unimaginable, or even when all the odds are stacked against you. And yes, that's true, right? We have to persevere even when times are tough. But what's really critical, and where's the little mind shift that needs to happen, is that we also have to persevere when things are going well, right? How often have we found ourselves down on our knees asking God for intervention and to help us get through something, or to take us out of a certain trial. And then as soon as things get a little bit better, we're sort of back to our old ways, right? Like we're doing a diet. Oh, okay, I'm so ready to lose weight. I'm so great. We do the first workout and I see the beginning of my ab muscles, and then I'm like, boom, job done, perseverance over, right? I've no longer am I persisting in or remaining constant to my task or purpose. And my purpose was to not just lose weight, right? My purpose was to change my behavior to implement a new lifestyle, right? And so when we persevere and we're trying to remain constant to a task or purpose, that's the way I want you to think about it. Not just like, oh, when the times get tough, I just have to keep going, right? No, we need to have our eyes set on what our goal and what our purpose is. And then we're just continually working towards that. That's what perseverance is, right? Now, where, right? Where should I start to exhibit perseverance? Well, those things really need to happen in all aspects of your life, right? It can happen romantically. Your marriage is a great place where perseverance must be a big part of that relationship, because the goal, task, or purpose is for a lifelong commitment, a lifelong union. And so if that's the goal, the purpose, the task, right? We're going to remain constant to that. We can't deter from it and all of a sudden create these loopholes or these out clauses that allow us to negate our perseverance, right? We can find it in our spiritual life through implementing Bible plans, through doing it daily Bible readings. These are things that we need to remain constant to, right? Persist in the accomplishment of that goal. Financial, everywhere, right? I mean, I'd love to hear some other examples where perseverance needs to be implemented but is sometimes overlooked. Another big one, right? When do we need to persevere? I kind of talked about this a little bit already, right? Most people feel like, oh, when I really need to dig into my perseverance is when, I'm up against a huge set of obstacles, or where I'm trying and I'm not moving forward. Do you know what I mean? And someone might tell you like, well, just persevere, just keep going. No, if you're not moving forward, then you should change, you should stop, right? Because perseverance is about continual progression. It's a continual elevation. It's continual movement towards your goal, task, or purpose. And so if you're doing something and all of a sudden you're getting zero response, zero feedback, you're making zero movement forward, then it might be just like when you're trying to put together an IKEA table and all of a sudden the screw won't screw in anymore. Now you can screw that, you can keep turning that screwdriver as much as you want, but because that tread is off and you don't have it lined up properly, no matter how many times you turn that screwdriver, that screw is not going to go any further in, right? And that's kind of a tricky thing about perseverance, right? It should always move you forward. So if you find yourself trying, and you're moving in circles without forward progression, that means something's a little bit offline. You need to stop, you need to regroup and figure out, how do I need to continue on this path towards my task, purpose, or goal, right? Does that make sense? All right, so we did the what, we did the where, we did the when. Now who, right? Who perseveres, right? Well, any winner, right? Anyone that you've seen become successful or win at a race, a competition in life, they have had to persevere. And so that means you need to learn how to persevere. And so that gets us to that big question, right? How do we do that? How and why? I've got 2 questions left. Which one should we do first? Let's do the how. Okay, so how do we persevere? Now that we know how important it is and what it means to persevere, to be able to remain constant to or persist in a task or purpose, we believe it's through fundamentals. And we have 5 fundamentals that we've spelled out. And so our brand name, PRSVR, it represents and stands for the word persevere, but it also boils down to our 5 fundamentals of perseverance. And that's passion, resilience, sacrifice, values, and respect. If you can implement these 5 things into your daily, minute-by-minute lifestyle, then perseverance will automatically happen, right? If you watch my husband's Free Game Thursday today, he really breaks down each one of those 5 fundamentals for you. So I won't take too much time doing that right now. But again, how do you persevere? Implement these fundamentals: passion, resilience, sacrifice, values, and respect. And then the big question is, but why? Right? What is the big deal if I give up on my dreams? If I give up on this goal, if I change my goal halfway through, if I switch my task or I pivot my purpose, is that okay? Here, I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, but here's what I will say, right? The Bible spells it out really, really clear for us, right? It says you need to persevere so that when you've done the will of God, you will receive what He has planned for you. Now, here, I'm gonna end it with like a little example, right? About perseverance through marriage, right? How many times do we hit those roadblocks? You hit those things and those times in your marriage life that you feel like this person could not be the person that I am meant to spend the rest of my life with because of X, Y, Z, A, B, or C, right? I could have easily hit that roadblock and called it quits and changed it and said, hey, God, that was my goal to stay married forever, but, He didn't uphold His end of the bargain, so that means I don't really have to uphold my end of the bargain anymore. What would I have foregone if, say, I would have gotten divorced in 2016? Well, I'll tell you a lot. Over the last 5 years, I've not only been able to move to the house of my dreams, I've also produced another life. My daughter came from that perseverance, right? These rewards and blessings come through the endurance, the perseverance that we have. Another great quote, let me see if I actually wrote it down here. Also from the Bible, it's saying that, hey, suffering is what produces perseverance. Perseverance is what develops your character, and character is what can give you hope. Now, I don't really like that term of suffering, feeling that the only way to produce perseverance is through suffering. But the Holy Spirit kind of whispered me and said, hey, suffering is part of life that we can't get around, right? It's about how we react to that suffering. Do we let it make us pivot? Do we let that suffering make us give up on that task, purpose, or goal that we had set aside? Now, a lot of times the answer is unfortunately, yes, we do. But what the Bible urges us to do is turn that suffering and let that suffering develop perseverance inside of you. Because as you continue to persevere, you will develop excellence. You will build a strong character. And it will be so easy for you to develop hope and to have hope that your dreams will come to pass. And that is what perseverance promises to give you, that you will then receive all that He has planned for you. And what do we know? He says, I know the plans I have for you, to give you hope and a future, not to harm you,